Hey everyone, how's it going? It is either Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a VeVe OMI update video. A couple other things as well. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon. Smashing that super thanks button down below. And we got to go over their active daily users and why were one of these dates so low. So before we get started on that, let's go and take a look at how many new users we've gotten the past week, the last week before that, the week before that, etc., etc. So shout out to Prita, who's just been amazing with this. Collects new information every week, and this week and last week, there was 130 new users each week, which if you can't do math, that's 260. It's about 18-ish people a day. And okay, well, these are the last 2 weeks. That's nice. What about the week before? Well, that week we had 170. It's like, okay, well, if we have 430 of these over on the, if we have 430 of these over the last 3 weeks, that's really good, right? Yes. Okay, so then why do we only have anywhere between 446 active daily users and 955? Well, I'll tell you, that one cherry-picked piece of data on October 20th, that is when AWS was all, nothing's going to work for the day, whether it was on Fortnite or Snapchat. A lot of people's streaks were killed that day. It's amazing how much stuff runs on AWS, and that just happens to be that day. If you exclude that day, the lowest day was actually 563, and you have no other days from the 14th to the 23rd under 679. So I actually like that. How many of these wallets of these newer wallets are they staying active every day? I don't know. I can't tell you. But what I will go in and say is that there's two ways to look at that. You can look at it like, okay, Chavez, we had 430 wallets over the last 3 weeks that they are new. They have at least one collectible in them. And you, despite that, you still have, excluding that October 20th day, less than 600 users if we cherry pick that one piece of data. If you want to average it out, it's going to be like 700-ish, really more like 730, 750. And that, it's still not a ton. And it's like, okay, Chavez, we have these new users coming in, but they're not staying every day. That's a bad sign. What happens if we keep bottoming? Okay, fair question. That is a concern. I think that we've either already bottomed, or the bottom is really close for the active daily users, because they have just, and again, I went over this the other day, they launched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Street Fighter in the same week. These are both multi-billion-dollar companies, tens of billions of dollars companies, and it's like, okay, well, this is why I think we bottomed. But yeah, what happens if it's not? If you keep lowering it, and again, I would be concerned if we had no new users and it was dwindling and we could see that scaling, but that's not what we're seeing. Yes, if you interpret that data that way, it's like, yes, we could go down that way, and it could not be very good for the token. It could not be very good for the amounts in which people are willing to pay for significantly, or for culturally significant things like first appearance Mickey Mouse, first appearance Spider-Man, Batman, etc. But that's not how I'm interpreting it. I interpret it the other way, where it's like, okay, we're either at the bottom or we've already bottomed. It's one of the two. And if we're not at the bottom yet, we're close. And if that's the case, okay, it would be one thing if, like, well, we had like 30 new users this week and 70 the other week, but this week we had 130. That would be one thing. But we've consistently had over 100 new users the last 3 weeks, and before then, it wasn't as much. It was like 70, and I think it was like 70 something like both weeks, which is still not horrible. At that point, it's like 10 users per day, which again, if you were considering how low these active daily number users are, even getting 10 users a day is really not bad. And what's going to happen with those numbers? Can we keep those numbers up? Do those numbers stay the same at 130-ish, say 100 to 150? Do they go lower and then we get like 70 new users each week? Or do they go higher and we get hundreds of users each week instead of 130? I think that the numbers are either going to stay the same or increase in a meaningful way because again, we got Street Fighter and TMNT in a bear market, and it doesn't matter what simile you use, what metaphor you use, whether it's military, it's sports, it's business. You never start with your best offer. You never, like, do you start with the generals or do you send the scouts first? Like, I would bet my entire OMI stack of 300 something million OMI that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Street Fighter, although I love them both, they're probably not the biggest announcements that we have. The biggest announcements that we have, I guarantee you, are still yet to come. Because again, this is bear market territory for NFTs. What stuff will they have when the NFT bull market is running? I think it's going to be a lot. And because of that, so you have DCon, you have New York Comic Con, you have Vegas in a couple weeks, and you have these two really awesome licenses that were just announced, and they're dropping. At least Turtles are dropping fairly quickly. For the Street Fighter, I'm not sure, but you have Vegas, and like right after Vegas is no more cash out from gems. So you might have a little bit more of a sell-off. You might have a little bit more in active user drops. If they can't cash out, they might not use it. Or people just start to use, I mean, you can't cash out from the app anyway. I think you have to go to the website, but for gems right now. But you're going to be able to use your OMI, more OMI utility, OMI for gems. And again, I think that the amount of new users we get is going to increase because you're no longer going to need to KYC. And that's a big barrier to entry. And once that barrier is taken away, I think there comes a time, and again, not right away, I think comes a time in December, January, February, where we have hundreds of new users each week. And not only that, but the active daily users potentiates to a number, I'm not going to say hitherto undreamt of, but I'll say thousands per day, if not tens of thousands per day. And a blow off top would be tens of thousands per day. But that's how I'm interpreting the data. I went over this on live, and this is why I'm stacking so much OMI now, because I think the prices of both OMI and the collectibles have been punished in an insane way. I mean, you can get a partner statues now for like $800 with OMI. You can get a 3-digit now for like $1,400. It's on Stacker. It's mine, number 403. Buy it. And an AF-15 as well, ultra rare. You know, super cheap. Anyway, I do it because I think OMI's stupid undervalued. I also think that there's a lot of other stuff that's undervalued, like DEVVE, like Definity, and like DACAT. And I had a super chat before saying like, hey, do you think DACAT could do like 1,000x, which would bring it to like $1.8 billion market cap? I was like, well, that's a lot, and probably not, but 100x to 180 million, sure. You know, I think that's possible, and I'd even bet money on it too. But if DACAT can do that, I think OMI from here, I think 200 to 300x. 200x brings it to 3 cents. 300x brings it to 4.5 cents. I did say 2 to 4 cents, so around that 200x mark is pretty perfect. So I have no problem stacking here. And again, I'm stacking here knowing that it could reach the quad zeros. And if it does, I'll stack again. I have a bunch of other things that I could sell. For me, now is the time. Might not be the time for you. That time might have already passed for you. You might be onto other stuff. None of this is financial advice. Anything can go to zero at any moment. But this is what I'm doing. I am going to slowly, over the next 6 months, take liquidity out of some of the companies I own, and I am going to go in and buy a bunch of crypto that I think is undervalued. Definity, they had an announcement with Bloomsbury Money before. I'll read that real quick. They say, following Bloomsbury's official launch on October 1st, we're pleased to share the platform is now going live with the accounts of our first cohort of onboarded clients this week. The response from Definity's institutional partners and larger clients has been overwhelmingly positive, with many already engaged in the onboarding process. This momentum is deepening the strategic alignment between Bloomsbury and Definity, strengthening our market position, and fostering closer integration across our client and partner ecosystem. They're also doing a Series A funding round soon. And then DEVVE, they are, I think, 2 months away from an announcement. That big exchange partner, and what type of partnership that is. Maybe you get some dual marketing there. I think we're about to have a really good couple of months here. Now, there might be more pain in the next couple of months before we get to that. But again, for me, this is my playground here. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. And everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. Love you guys. See you in a few days. Meow.